Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a little while. Today, I just wanted to quickly go over the FlyQuest TL draft from Game 2. LCS is starting best of threes, so this is Game 2 of that best of three. And what I really want to point out in this draft is how Team Liquid essentially entered the game down 2 players. FlyQuest put together probably the best competitive draft you can. In my opinion, straight up five of the best champs you can have in competitive in each position. It wasn't even close. Team Liquid had no chance of winning the game with the comp they had. Really, they're bot lane, and we'll see that in the early picks here. But first, I want to start out with the ban, so I'm just going to pause quick. FlyQuest hit with K'Sante ban, Nautilus ban, Rumble ban. K'Sante ban and Rumble ban, totally good. Really strong top laners right now. The Nautilus ban, I'm not entirely sure about. I'm of the opinion still that Nautilus is super, super overrated. Not a good champion. 99% of the time it's just going to hook in and die. So I think you can leave that up, and then you can just first pick Senna, and then, take your Senna pairing on 2-3 on blue side, whether that be an Ornn, a Cho'Gath, a Seraphine, whatever you want it to be. So the Nautilus ban, not necessary, but it's popular. So I guess if you're not planning on early picking it, fine, ban it away. Team Liquid, with 3 of the most useless bans, I think you could possibly imagine Nidalee and Renekton aren't really even champions. I don't know why they're prioritized at all. Nidalee, if you really want her to be of any use, need to have a really easy CC setup, aka Renekton. So, any point-and-click CC with Nidalee that can lock a target in place to guarantee a spear is fine. But that doesn't negate the fact that Nidalee doesn't scale. She's useless in team fights outside of, chucking random spears, hoping they hit and healing some people. And then Renekton is kind of the same case. If you don't get massively ahead in the early game, he's going to fall off super hard. Even if you do end up getting really ahead, he's still going to fall off past 20 to 25 minutes, end up being really, really useless unless you get some god tier flank and are able to get onto a backline squishy. The Cassio ban, I don't really know about. It might just be a target ban against Quad. I don't know Quad's champ pool, or if he's like a god tier Cassiopeia player. If so, fine. But that's really the only reasoning I can find for that ban. Cassio is not a very blind pickable champion currently, so that's a little perplexing. Again, kind of assuming it's just a target ban there. Anyways, FlyQuest B1 Skarner. So this is very, very good. Skarner is one of, if not the best champ in the game right now. Super strong, top lane and jungle. Even a support flex, even though support's, in my opinion, not great. In top and jungle, this champ is utterly broken. Completely unkillable. Good lane. Good scaling. Disgustingly OP in team fights. His ultimate is just so good. Go through walls, you name it, this champ can do it. And his base stats are just ridiculous. So very, very good opening pick for FlyQuest on B1. And again, it's a top jungle flex, even though I would assume 99% of pro teams are going to be playing this champion in top lane. It can still very easily go jungle and be very impactful in that role. Anyways, great start for FlyQuest. And if we go ahead and play here, I'm going to fast forward a bit. And so Team Liquid pretty much lose the game already. So Ashe support, I'll correct myself, it's not lost, but it'll be lost in another pick here. Ashe is a really good champion if you pick her for an ADC. If you pick her support, she's dog water. Champ doesn't do anything in the support role, which I'm assuming is where she will go in most cases in pro, and Team Liquid does end up picking her support. The Tristana is fine. She actually has some tank killing capabilities and scales really well in the mid lane. So that pick I'm perfectly okay with. Strong champion there. But the Ashe, so I'm going to pause here quick. What the Ashe tells you, such an early rotation for the support role, is that you're playing hard to win the lane. You're going to pick double early marksman, double hail of blades, and just play to try to smash the lane. And FlyQuest recognized this and answer with Senna Ornn. So essentially what FlyQuest are saying is, okay, you can go full early, try to smash the lane. It doesn't really matter, because with our first 3 picks, if the game reaches 25 minutes, we're going to auto win the game. This entire concept of double marksman, Hail of Blades, bot lane, trying to smash the lane, it's completely misguided. It's useless. It doesn't do anything. All of the champions that are quote-unquote viable with this strategy, aka Ashe, Kalista, Caitlyn, maybe there are a couple others, but it's primarily Kalista, Ashe that teams end up picking. Those champs are completely useless. And like I said, TL's going to end up picking Kalista here to pair with the Ashe and try to smash the lane. Well, if it's a lethality Kalista and a cooldown Ashe, you're going to have no damage to tanks. FlyQuest has Skarner and Ornn, so you have zero chance of ever killing them, and Senna has infinite range. So the Kalista's never even going to be in range to hit the Senna. So really, Team Liquid has no idea what they're doing here. It was probably just a pre-planned draft, and the entire concept of trying to smash lane into a Senna Ornn lane is completely delusional. What TL should have done in this circumstance, as soon as Senna Ornn was locked in, they should have said, okay, we're just going to send Ashe ADC as normal. She's long range, she scales well, she has a lot of DPS, and can kill tanks, along with the Tristana. And then we just pair something like a Soraka or a Lulu or a Karma with the Ashe. And that way, you still have a strong lane with double range into Ornn, but you're not, putting all of your eggs into one basket and saying, okay, if we don't smash this lane and get 3 kills and a bunch of turret plates, we're not going to lose the game by 15 or 20 minutes. If you send Ashe ADC and have an enchanter with her, you scale perfectly well while also having a winning dynamic in the lane. Picking this double Hail of Blades trash with Kalista it pigeonholes your team so much into playing around one style, and if it doesn't work, you're done for. And even if it does work, again, I'll say it yet again, even if it does work, these champions do not scale. So in comparison, even if you have a really fed Kalista, enemy team still has Senna, Ornn, Skarner. Game reaches 20-25 minutes, Kalista's not going to be able to kill the tanks, and she's not going to be in range to kill the Senna. So it's less about these quote-unquote OP meta picks, and more about actual dynamics of champions. Scaling, range, stats like this that actually matter in draft. Anyways, moving on, TL B3, or R3 rather, Maokai, which is completely needless. I would have just picked ADC here to match bot lanes. You've already blind picked your mid lane, and now you're blind picking jungle as well. It just doesn't, there's no reason to, just again, pigeonholing their team even further in the draft. It's almost like, I don't know who's making these decisions for Team Liquid, but it's almost like they wanted to make the game difficult for themselves. So through the first phase, FlyQuest has every single advantage in the world. Even though Maokai is really good, and Trist Maokai is a perfectly fine mid-jungle duo, the problem is literally just the bot lane. Like I said at the beginning of this video, TL enters the game down 2 players. They do not have a bot lane. So it doesn't really matter if they have a good topside draft or good topside matchups, because their bot lane is completely doomed. So FlyQuest is going to enter the game with range advantage, with scaling advantage, with comp advantage, and literally everything in between. Seraphine ban, I'd say is good, but I'm like, is Seraphine Ashe a thing? Not really, but Seraphine's a really good champ, so fine. Hui ban is fine. Hui is really, really good, and probably strong in Tristana, scales really well, matches themes with the rest of FlyQuest comp. Hui ban is fine. Viego ban is also fine. And then Mordekaiser ban. That's honestly a perfectly fine ban, because we know Impact likes to play Mordekaiser, and Mordekaiser beats most tank matchups like the Skarner here. So that's a perfectly fine ban as well to keep your top side safe. And so here is where TL is going to lose the game. Instead of doing what we said earlier and sending Ashe ADC and picking a ranged enchanter with her, it doesn't even have to be an enchanter. Just any ranged bot laner with her. You can do Xerath, you can do Brand, you can do Vel'Koz, something that can shred tanks as well and be an AP threat would be fine. But I knew they entered the game with Kalista Ashe. I did not expect them to save R5 for ADC when enemy bot lane is picked on 2-3. This makes absolutely no sense. 99.999% that the Ornn is going to be paired with the Senna, with Nautilus bans, no one really plays any other pairings with Senna, and they B1 Skarner. No one's going to be playing Skarner in the jungle, even though you can. FlyQuest's first three are pretty much locked. I do not understand why Team Liquid is saving a quote-unquote counter pick for R5 on ADC when FlyQuest bot lane was locked in first phase. So what TL have done here is blind pick mid lane, blind pick support, blind pick jungle. Like, huh? And then they're not even going to counter top lane. They're just going to match tanks in top lane. It's utterly baffling how utterly ridiculous Team Liquid's drafting here is. Completely delusional, zero strategy. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was pre-planned. Even if this was pre-planned, it would be horrendous, which it still is. So they go ahead and pick top lane on R4 to match tanks. They don't even counter pick. They could have picked something like Gwen or Fiora, completely countered the crap out of Skarner. Like Fiora is so good into that champion because he has really telegraphed CC, which is really easily parryable, and Fiora just outscales and does ridiculous true damage. And then FlyQuest round out with fantastic rotation of Corki and Karthus. And so, as you can see, that's pretty much the best you can get. You have infinite range, you have infinite tankiness in front line, you have engage from long range, you have the best scaling you can ask for out of, like, literally the best scaling on Ornn, Senna, Corki, Karthus, the four best scaling champs in the game outside of maybe Aurelion Sol. So, a really, really great comp from FlyQuest. Just straight up the 5 best champs you can have in pro play, in my opinion. Like, it's just straight up OP champs, nothing else to say. And TL save R5 for Kalista. I'd love to be inside the Team Liquid comms right now and just hear what they're saying. Who's making the decision to first save bot lane for R5 and then to pick Kalista? Okay, who is Kalista going to be in range to hit out of Karthus, Corki, and Senna? Okay, maybe Karthus, but he wants to die, really. And how is she ever going to do damage to Skarner or Ornn? She's not. The only, where is Team Liquid's damage coming from? That's just the question to ask. Okay, Tristana does damage. Okay, well, she can't kill 5 people. You ask, where's FlyQuest damage coming from? Okay, they have Karthus, who's the highest damage jungler in the game, probably champion in the game. They have Corki and Senna, who are both ridiculously long range and scale insanely well and outrange the Kalista. The Kalista, I do not understand why people think this champ is good. I will take it to the grave that this champ is so dog meat useless. It doesn't do anything. The only good things TL had in this draft were their mid jungle. And even still, the jungle pick was a little tainted because it was blind pick. Yes, Maokai's really good and fine as a blind pick, but there was just no need to pick Maokai on R3 when you could have just locked the bot lane pairing because FlyQuest was locked as well. It just absolutely makes no sense. The draft as a whole was horrendous, atrocious, whatever you want to call it from Team Liquid. And it's even more sad because this is like the best team in LCS. It just goes to show that draft doesn't really matter to a lot of, to most pro teams, I would say, at least in the LCS. FlyQuest absolutely killed it here. I would love to be inside their comms and listen to their reasoning for their comp. It was absolutely fantastic. They did pretty much everything right, in my opinion. Blind pick the strongest top in the game, the strongest bot in the game, the strongest jungle, and the strongest mid. They literally have the strongest champion in every single position. They have AP damage with Karthus. They have engage. It's the most well-rounded, best comp you can possibly ask for. Honestly, I can't think of a way to improve the FlyQuest comp. Team Liquid did everything wrong and should really be ashamed of themselves. I don't think, no one's going to look at the draft as a reason they lost the game, but it is the reason they lost the game. They entered the game at a 3 versus 5, maybe even a 2 versus 5, because realistically, what's the Zac going to do? Maybe he finds an engage onto the Senna, but, where's the follow-up? There isn't any. Okay, sure. So, I know this was a bit rambly toward the end, but I just wanted to, show off week 1 of the new split, and it's the same old stuff. No one really bothers with drafts. No one tries to understand or put any thought process into it. And Team Liquid, again, as the quote-unquote best team in the league, showing out this horribly in a draft is really, really quite embarrassing in my opinion. So that's going to be that. Let me know what you guys thought of this draft in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.